Meanwhile, the thousands of residents in Hong Kong signed a petition on August 8th, urging the government to pass a legislation that would ban the wearing of masks by demonstrators. The protests in Hong Kong have shown no signs of dying down, and ahead of, in fact, more protests which are expected, many have called for an end to making sure that the demonstrators are not remaining anonymous. A pro-Beijing group, Protect Hong Kong, said a ban, in fact, would make young activists realize they will be identified when taking illegal acts and will face the consequences.
Is it necessary for the government to enact such an anti-mask law? And I think there appears to be a necessity for such an enactment because protesters will be less aggressive when they wear no masks. And the police can identify violent protesters more easily, and most importantly, mask off can greatly reduce the risks of escalation of violence.
The latest demand for unmasking clearly shows that Beijing is baffled at the intensity and the longevity of the protest. While it was the protesters who were earlier demanding for an identification of the masked riot police officers, it is now the pro-Beijing lobby in the financial house which wants to unmask the protesters in order to identify and implicate them. The anti-mask law is not something new. At least 50 North American and European countries have legislations banning people from wearing masks in demonstrations. Now, these countries include the United States, Canada, France and Germany. The anti-mask law in the US can be traced to 1845, whereas Canada approved a bill in 2030 prohibiting people from covering their faces during a riot or unlawful assembly. The offence can attract a jail term of up to 10 years. In the aftermath of the Yellow Vest protests, France approved a law last January banning the wearing of masks at protests. Wearing a mask could now result in a one-year prison sentence and be fined to around 15,000 euros. Even Germany since 1985 has outlawed disguising one's identity in public meetings such as demonstrations. Penalty for this is imprisonment up to 1 year. With barely a month to go for the 17th anniversary celebrations of the People's Republic of China, Beijing is clearly wary, and concerns have risen that trying to push through an unmasking campaign, she will also try to seek and get Hong Kong under control by then to avoid any violence that steals the headlines.
没有。